big one now, an elimination game. Just one of these teams will meet the crowd for CORSAIR DreamHack Masters Marseille. Mousesports have looked so damn good as they continue to rise to power as these guys start to lose some. It's SK Gaming they'll be taking on, and no, they have not fallen from grace. This is not a story of disaster and the loss of a legend. That is not the story we're painting here, but simply SK, the Superman, has found, to an extent, a little bit of a weakness. They found a chink in his armor. He's wearing a suit of armor even though he's Superman. The metaphor got a little
It's
lost
kryptonite.
there.
Kryptonite defeats Superman.
Yeah, but I know, but I was going to say, but Stewie isn't kryptonite. It didn't work. Stewie isn't really his kryptonite, is it?
Not in my hair. I think I slept in a little bit too long.
Chad's
today,
here, by the way.
Yeah.
Welcome. Yeah, we have Chad Birchall and Janko Paunovic still hanging out with us, putting us all to shame with that sexy jacket and pocket square. But this is an I think this is my game to watch for
100%.
the entirety of the group stage. Like, I'm very excited to see how this one plays out. And perhaps, you know, Chad, you can explain to the guys at home why we are so excited about this one. We had Sean explain it earlier, just before he left us, and the guys at home perhaps unfamiliar with why SK Mousesports, which, say, a year ago, wouldn't have been such a headliner.
Well, a lot's happened in a year, Alex, and Mousesports have definitely climbed the rungs of the international Counter-Strike ladder, and they have some very exciting players in the server. Sunny, Oscar, and then you've got Rops as the 3 stars going up against the likes of coldzera first. Stewie recently added, Fallen, of course. It's just a game of titans going head-to-head in a brawl that is going to be very, very interesting for a lot of reasons, but the one for me, the one that tickles my fancy the most is these after-plant scenarios that will be going down time and time again, I think.
And I think for some as well, Janko, it is just an opportunity to actually see, just because we don't really know what state SK are in right now.
Absolutely. It's been too little to gauge where they are so far in this tournament, right? Losing a close game to NIP and then crushing Valiance, right? That for a team like SK isn't really a challenge at all. This is, though, and a big one, really. Mousesports, one of the favorites to win the whole thing. So for SK, hearing it from Fallen in that interview, that it's quite challenging at the start with Stewie to figure everything out, and they're working towards it. It's still a work in progress, means that they're nowhere near where they would like to be as a team. So it's going to be interesting to see how they fare up against a very strong Mousesports.
We can bring up that bracket that Janko is referring to as well, just so we can back it up with some cold, hard facts. You can see, yes, indeed, it was SK with a very narrow loss on Train versus the Ninjas to get them into this lower bracket they now reside.
Yeah, Ninjas were looking pretty hot in that matchup, right? Getting it done, rolling back the years a little bit. The one that was really interesting to me to kick off the whole tournament was the Mousesports Valiance game, where Mousesports on their home map of Mirage really had to come back and fight to get that game where it needed to be and get the win on the board. And then obviously they fell to NIP in the winners match.
If anything, I think this bracket tells us that NIP are going to be one to watch when we get to those playoffs, Chad. I mean, they've looked truly like not to be trifled with.
I was talking to LMBT and I said, based off all the roster changes over the last couple of months and the teams you've been playing in practice, because we don't get to see those kind of results, who are the 3 teams that you're looking at under yourselves, obviously? And this is from the European region. Yeah. He said Astralis, he said Na'Vi, and NIP. Those were his 3. So,
pretty good.
Yeah, it's a pretty good field, and we have all those teams in the playoffs, I believe.
Yes, they're all locked in, and this one is important for both Mouse and SK, whether they want to even have a chance to play them again. Mousesports, of course, did have that incredible best of 3, but now they face against SK with a new player. Stewie 2K, we're in Marseille. Let's learn a little more.
Guys, we're here in Marseille at the Escalier de la Gare St. Charles. I'm pretty sure I butchered that, but nonetheless, we're here for DreamHack Masters. I'm supposed to be meeting up with Stewie 2K any minute now, so perhaps he shows up. Oh, there he is. Oh, there he is. Welcome, Stu.
What's up, man? How's it going?
Dog? Long time no see.
Yeah, long time no see.
What took you so long?
You know, a lot of fans. You know how it is, man.
All right, Stewie. So we're here, obviously Marseille. Things are, perfect for this sort of atmosphere. So talk to me a little bit about the vibe now that you're not rocking the blue and white.
Like I said before, my heart belongs there, but my mind belongs here.
Yeah, your heart. Hold on, let me get it straight. Your heart belongs there,
but my mind belongs here.
So your mind's telling you go, and your heart's telling you no.
Yeah, but they say go with your heart, but sometimes you gotta go with your mind.
Sometimes you gotta shake it up. All right, so Stu, coming into DreamHack Masters Marseille, of course, Cloud9 is also here. Talk to me about what it would feel like to play against those guys. I mean, you won a freaking major together, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like online, like when you leave the team and you play them like I did before for my debut match on SK, there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of people watching behind you. They want to see you fail. They want to see you succeed. but it's tough to blend in at the start, especially joining 4 players who are from a different country and their native tongue is Portuguese.
Yeah.
It's tough. So, but now playing the C9 guys on LAN, like if we were to meet here, I'd feel very motivated to play them. You know, you don't want to lose to your ex-teammates.
Stewie, kind of like this church, kind of like what it represents. It's a massive thing. It's a massive scale, right? I mean, what do you see a crossover there?
Yeah, I grew up in a Christian school my whole life. I've seen people who devote themselves to what they believe in, and they're strong believers. They dedicate their lives to it. And I guess in a way it's similar to me with Counter-Strike because when I first started, the future wasn't bright for me, but in my head, I believed that I could do it, and I thought I could pursue this dream. And I devoted myself to Counter-Strike and kind of just forgot about school, forgot about everything, and just went for my dream.
I told you that you could have a wish, and I don't like to lie, I don't like to make things up, but it's actually that time. Now I'm not going to ask you what you're wishing for right away, but I will give you this coin and enable you to do that.
Is this the lucky coin though?
Well, I can't guarantee that either.
All right, it's lucky now.
So what'd you wish for, man? Are you able to tell me? No? What about winning DreamHack Masters Marseille?
Could be, but you never
You
know.
can't tell me, right?
Can't tell you, man.
Whatever, dude. We're out of here.
Portuguese lessons, I reckon, is what he wished for. That would probably really hook him up right about now.
He needs it in the shuttle, mate. I was in there with the SK guys on the way in. It's just Portuguese the whole way. Stewie and I just sitting there quiet, just thinking, well, wish we knew more than one language.
But that was, you said that was my initial reaction when I saw the announcement. First of all, I was like, that's going to look cool if they make it work, 100%. Sure. But then immediately my reaction is, dude, they aren't just names in a server. They're like people living in a house. Like,
yeah.
if I imagine opening that door and it's like, you know, because they have a family situation. They've got like people's girlfriends and like family. They come over and dogs. They've got pets and everything. And he's going to be walking in like, hi guys. She's like, okay, sit down. It's dinner. Dinner's ready. And then you don't even know the name. You're like, hello.
I don't know where your seat is at the table.
And then, of course, conversations will slip into their language. And you kind of like, so when's practice?
Guys,
like, it could just be uncomfortable, and it's not. That's by no means SK's fault. It's just that's just how it works.
Well, we deal with it all the time, right? We're working with a lot of Swedes right now, and they get into the native tongue, and we're like, cool.
Yeah. Well. Anyway, guys, our job is to analyze.
Alex, your Swedish is picking up, though.
Can we hear a bit of Swedish, Alex?
Thank you. Yep. Not yet.
Not yet?
No. No, but I have the same thing. I'm living in the Netherlands, so I mean, I know what it's like. Suddenly, like
Well, everyone speaks English. Then.
No, because when you're like older family, like my partner's family, it's like. They try English for about 5 minutes, and then something important comes up, and it's like, so like, we done? No. What's that? Yes, yeah. I have no idea what we're talking about. Anyway, we've got a bit sidetracked. We have just been told we have not got the world's largest amount of time to discuss a very important game of Counter-Strike, so
it's a shame.
Back on topic. I was having fun.
Yeah, it is a shame.
Yeah. Let's get into this then. So vetoes. Yanko, I'll let you kind of open us up before the big reveal. What's the sitch?
Yeah, well, for Mousesports, it's cash or overpass. Like, they're two weak spots, really. So yesterday we saw them try to play overpass. It didn't go great. I don't think they're going to switch it up now and veto overpass, play cash. I think it's going to be the same. SK is going to veto nuke. So Mousesports can pick Mirage if they want it. In that case, and for SK, then the pick gets a little bit tricky, right? Do they go for that overpass pick, which has been a weakness for Mousesports, or do they feel that they're more comfortable on something else, potentially a train or an Inferno? I think overpass would be the best choice for them.
What do you reckon, Chad? I mean, we'll start bringing it up as we do think out loud, but I think giving Mousesports Mirage is widely considered to be a mistake in
yeah, but when you have clear weaknesses like SK do, you have to get rid of nuke. I think the best two maps for Mousesports at the moment are nuke and Mirage, right? So getting rid of that one makes sense, and Mousesports are going to go with the pick.
Cash.
Picking cash. That's quite a there's two brawly maps we get to start the day off, and these are maps that I mentioned it before about the after plant scenarios going down. Both of these teams, they can get into the bomb sites as they get the bombs down, but they're really exciting in the after plants. SK because they're fantastic on retakes, and that comes a lot to do with communication. Now we're going to see how that plays as this team continues to grow with Stewie in the roster. And then you've got Mousesports on the flip side of that. When they're teased and they get into the 3v3 after plans or the 2v3 after plans, and they have Oscar alive, and these guys were really good at closing, that's where the game gets really exciting for me.
Sorry.
Yeah, but I think they're dependent on that on some of the maps, most notably not Mirage and not Nuke, right? You see that Mousesports do make the switch, the veto overpass instead of Cash, perhaps because of that game yesterday versus NIP, and SK goes straight for the punish. They go for Cash, and Mousesports only played it once at the major against Astralis, and that was a predetermined pocket pick, like preparing specifically for that opponent on that one map. So yes, Cash is an open map, everyone plays it, everyone knows the groundwork really, but to be able to play it at such high of a level, it needs to be more than that. And yes, Mousesports on Mirage, what makes them the best team in the world is the retakes and how they play in it. But that's because they're so practiced on it. On Cash, they're not. And SK has it across all maps, really, because of how long they've been playing with each other.
I was going to ask you, do you stand by your statement about Mirage being or Mousesports being the best at Mirage? I was wondering if that's faltered or changed, or you need more evidence.
I still do think that they are the best Mirage team in the world at the moment.
One of the few teams we've seen challenge them on it has been Team Liquid, and they are still kicking around. We're seeing more from them. Chris J, though, a player who we talked a lot about when they first showed up here in Marseille, just talking about how influential he has been in Mousesports' rise to power.
Yeah, of course, from that in-game leadership position with LMB behind him, giving him the information that he needs. But I think one of the most interesting things, and we've touched on it time and time again, is the double AWP potential with him and Oscar. Now, Chris J used to be the main AWPer for Mousesports for a very long time. Now that we've brought Oscar into the roster, he's taken a step back, but when they need to bring out the double AWPs, it looks very, very dangerous. And a map like Caches where you can do it quite proficiently on the CT side, but one towards the A bomb site, one towards the B bomb site. Let your riflers have that pack in middle, and that can be quite a scary combo to deal with. Something
that's just struck me, and it's going to be a nice little segue into the players they'll be playing against, is talking of double AWPs. What about the new concept of perhaps Stewie2K picking that bad boy up? I mean, Janko, he is no slouch on that AWP.
True, but the reason why he has been picking it up the most in his time in Cloud9 was because Skadul was more of a passive AWPer. So whenever Cloud9 wants to make an aggressive play with the AWP, it would be Skadul passing it to Stewie and then him making the play, maybe even passing it back, right? SK doesn't have that problem. Fallen is more than comfortable of going for those aggressive plays himself, and that's why CORSAIR was mostly the secondary AWPer depending on position. Now that may change to Stewie. Again, I think it's only going to be dependent on those CT-sided setups. Obviously, no point in having CORSAIR the secondary AWP if him and Fallen are playing the same side.
It's so cool. It is that we have got to the point now where we have Stewie2K in SK, and they just did their same routine, like their whatever they're saying. I'm not going to try and imitate it.
Maybe that's that well practiced that
no, I reckon they've briefed him, so it's like, okay, we're going to shout this on 3, right?
This is what it means in English.
Yeah,
and this
right.
Just a little bit more on that double AWP. Obviously, we saw it come out on their Mirage game, but we even saw Fur AWPing, so I don't know how much to read into that. The sample size is still very small. That's one of these unknown factors, and that's why this game can be so interesting. For Mousesports, that upward trajectory, SK with the roster change, it's still unknown territory from us from the analyst desk, unfortunately.
And that's where, before we do get into this game, before we meet our casters and I start asking for predictions, my first question for both of you is going to be, what are the questions you'd like answered in this best of 3? What will, seeing 3 maps of Counter-Strike between these two teams, what are you looking to learn from this?
I think for me, it's just going to see the cohesion within the SK roster with Stewie. Like, how is he going to fit in? Because we know he's a sporadic player. Is he going to be pulled back on the reins a little bit by Fallen, or is he going to be allowed to do what he normally does, which is be very instinctual? We know he's the smoke criminal. We know he loves to play with those pushes, or is it going to be a different version of Stewie that we saw in Cloud9?
I think SK just won the knife round there. I just heard a nice and fist bumps, and I imagine that they're just trying to get that momentum flowing. Same question to you though, Janko.
Yeah, I think for this one it's going to be interesting to see for Mousesports, right? Can they continue that good run of form and take the next step and go to the playoffs here? They beat SK in a best of 3 in Kiev, but before that they've struggled tremendously, couldn't get a single win on the board really. And for SK, it's how deep have they fallen because of this roster change, right? Where is their level at now in a best of 3 against a tier 1 opponent, or have they fallen really that much? They have a good chance here with the map pool. I don't like this for Mousesports. I think this gives a very good chance for SK to take them down and secure a spot in the playoff.
Back it up with a prediction, Janko.
It's so hard because I still want to give like Mousesports Mirage no matter what, and they are a good force to be reckoned with on train, but I don't know, it's just something with SK and the way they play those after plans and everything that we talk about. I think this is going to be one of their classic games, classic performances, and Mousesports have looked shaky. I think SK takes this one.
Good grief. Okay, Chad, it has to be a bit quick.
Yeah, word on the street is a couple of the Mousesports players are sick, and practice into this tournament wasn't doing fantastically. So I'm with Yanko. They're looking a little bit shaky, and I'm going to back in SK, who are fired up and ready and raring to go.
Look at Chad. Per sources, Mousesports are feeling a little unwell. Well, I'll tell you who else is sick. It's your casters. These guys are nuts, and I need to hear their predictions as well. I think the guys are waiting for my prediction, but I'm just going to try and get away without doing one. Anders, Moses, gentlemen, this is probably one of the most exciting series for us here, just because we've got so many questions that we've just outlined here that we hopefully are going to get answers for. Same question to you, though. What questions do you hope to get answered by seeing a full best-of-3 offline series with new SK?
I mean, I just want to see what happens if you mix Stu and CORSAIR into the same team. I just want to see the explosion that happens. Yeah. Like 2 different chemicals in the lab, and you've got all your safety gear, and now you should see what happens, you know. Yeah.
Well, we get out your hair, or yours, Anders. And
yeah, there we are. That's a good one. That's great.
I can't wait.
What a piece of.
I'm here with my little creamy McMuffin, and it's just gonna be a good time. I just can't wait for it.
You sat up thinking of that one last night, didn't you? That's the message I got when you said, "Oh, I can't do dinner, just busy with all this work." You were just writing down nicknames, weren't you?
Yeah, just preparing. Took 3 hours, and that's what I came up with. And I thought, that's it. I've got it. Go to sleep now. It's 3 a.m. But
obviously a rat.
SK versus Mousesports in a best-of-3, and I can hardly believe this. This is the loser goes out.
Yeah, loser goes home. It's great, isn't it? Well, this is what we talked about yesterday with the Mousesports NIP game. Was like that was like a series where you just don't want to go down and play SK Gaming. Yeah, they've kind of been mortal since this roster change, since bringing Stewie, and they haven't got everything figured out. But you still don't want to mess with them, do you? Like, look at these players on this team that can just, if Fur can win a game single-handedly, CORSAIR can win a series single-handedly, Fallen can win a game single-handedly, we know Stewie can do it as well. So, I mean, regardless of how well they are in terms of team cohesion and the team play and being on the same page, they still have guys who can just individually take over.
It's gonna get explosive. I think you could just feel it. I hope Mousesports are ready, because this is gonna be a real test.
Yeah, I love these games because it is just like you want both of them to move on. So somewhat like they just can't. This is when the intensity rises, isn't it? Especially for a team like Mousesports that has looked, so good recently, and I think a lot of teams pick them as like the favorite to even be able to move on and win the event in its entirety. They could be going home. Cash is going to be the first map, first battleground for these two teams, and Mousesports going to be starting on the offense with one set of utility on Chris J, and we'll see what they can bring to the table. Some boosts coming in. 2 players going to go up. Sticko going to be ready to peek down in that lower choke point, and there is a 2-man defense here. Fallen from the main choke point. He's going to get flashed back just really quickly. 1 player bolts hiding at sandbags. Stewie hears all this as well.
Yeah, that's so much audio information to be given into the defenders in the middle. Nice position by the sandbags for bolts. Later on, that could get Molotov, but not now. And oh, those are great headshots. Shutting down Oscar and Sunny. There's not much left. Stewie, the flank came in. And this push, that's a nice shot with the P250. Rob's looking for a lot more, but they're just going to run him down. A pistol just won't stop that many people. It's going to be Chris all alone at the back of the site, and he's actually going to get thrown into the asphalt, and that will be a round for SK Gaming.
What a nice setup for SK. The trap was laid and then sprung, and that's probably, I imagine, what Fallen's laughing about. These 2 kills for bolts are so easy. It's not just Fallen's presence, but obviously that player coming down highway. You won't see that very often. Like, if you're going to be that mid defender coming in down that highway, I think the terrorist team is going to be focused on taking him out because there's nowhere for him to retreat. So you can see he grabs all the attention, and bolts just pounces at the right moment.
Yeah. Was absolutely perfect. And later on, some of those positions, they're going to get smoked off, they're going to get Molotoved off, there are going to be lots of ways to deal with it, but in a pistol round, generally, you don't have all those tools.
You're trying to conserve some of the nades you have, right, for some kind of execute later on. Speaking of which, Mousesports very close to turning the corner on this A bomb site, waiting for the smoke to fade, perhaps. They've got 4 Deagles. So may not actually just try and direct attack the bomb site, but maybe try and tag some of these guys down. And Bolts is the only one here at the moment. Fur's going to be coming up highway. Fallen's close for a flank. But Bolts has to stay alive for some time here, and they haven't committed just yet. Late smoking towards the choke point. There's the flash. Bolts trying to get out of the angle, and his teammate's gone down.
For Sunny. Fur has dropped another headshot for Sunny. making it work on Bolts as well. That's a good start now. Fallen is trying to bring them back into the round with the MP9. Actually jumps off the ladder, but Robs will get him. Sunny's still alive back there in the corner. If they had a grenade, this would be an easy round now, but they have to do a little bit more. Stewie walking into the site. There is no kit currently picked up on anybody. And out in the open, he's got to be very worried at the moment. Rob's getting the kill on him, and that's Sunny with the triple. All of them deagle shots, taking down CORSAIR at the end. And Mousesports bring it back in the second round. That's huge for the T side.
Yeah, Bolts and Fur just couldn't get anything done. Bolts forced out of the bomb site by that flashbang, was trying to get safety over towards Forklift and just couldn't do it. What an effort out of Sunny. The opening kill onto Fur. Follows up with a nice kill after that. And we talked about him. He's been great for Mousesports. I mean, a lot of the attention is going to be on Oscar. Sunny is developing quite nice on this team, coming over from Penta late last year.
Yeah, I made a bold prediction yesterday.
You did. You made a little bit of an insane prediction, but I mean, you've done that plenty of times, and they do seem to come through. So that's how I know there's no God or justice in this world.
Yes, that's the proof right there. Third round.
Well, don't leave the viewers hanging. Some people maybe weren't here yesterday when you gave the prediction.
Oh, well, my point was that if Mousesports, if he keeps playing like this, Sunny, then I mean, obviously they have to sort of keep on going. But if he keeps playing this level, Sunny, yeah, I think he's going to be the MVP for the tournament. I think he's
said in an elimination game.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
so
that's
could come to a quick halt, couldn't it?
It could end quickly, that little party there. The fact that they're playing SK game is obviously horrifying. But I made the prediction yesterday. I'm going to have to stick with it, don't I? There's no backing out now. Good use of Molotovs, even if you don't get any kills or force anyone out. Just having to not check those corners in a couple of seconds is still going to help out as they push on to the site. There are 3 people here, and the 4th one nearby, so got to be a bit careful. Fur already getting 1 kill. They're slowing down Mousesports. Why are they just standing still? A good opening for Chris with that MP7. We know he's good with it, but that almost got completely out of control. Now they're going to stabilize a little bit, and just Fallen with the scout gets a tag in fact, onto Robs.
Fallen might actually be able to control this, and yeah, great defense mounted by SK. Kept Mousesports at bay just as long as humanly possible. Fallen tag, but Chris, 4 kills with that SMG, and he has really shown that that weapon can be used in a variety of scenarios. Maybe one of the few people, but look at this. These are quick headshots to get them back into the game. He's the one that really busted up that stall. They weren't making any progress until he got involved.
Yeah, for them to slow down that much, I just feel like that's very risky. Like, you have 3 people there. Just the first one that turns the corner against Fur.
Yeah.
Have him jump, right? And then the second peek behind him, and there's almost nothing to do at that point. But they were being a little bit slow.
It should get easier now. Unarmored opponents, and the SMG is going to do work. Oscar and Chris with the opening kills towards the B bomb site. This will be a quick 3 rounds for Mousesports. A nice response and a recovery after SK wins that pistol. So 3-1, and we'll get guns on the board for the mostly Brazilian side. I think I'm still going to call them a Brazilian team. Think that's fair?
Yes, I think you should. I mean, for a long time, Moses, South America has been best America. Now they've taken the best of America, and it's of North America, and it's been now it's got really
that
crazy.
Was the most convoluted statement you've ever made.
So let's try to make it work, Moses. I really tried.
You just really were trying to fit in South America, best America, weren't you?
It's one of my favorite sayings.
It's pretty good. Up on Fallen inside of the A bomb site. Oscar's boosted up. A lot of utility used for mid control, and we know this can be so risky and so dicey. SK devoting a lot of players, a lot of resources in terms of body count to holding this off. And actually, I mean, they're doing it without an AWP. So Fallen, a lot of pressure is going to be put on him. They're going away from the stack, but that first shot misses. Now the flashbangs come in. Bolt's trying to hold the line. No smoke in his face. I don't know if Sunny was expecting that, but he does go down, and Fallen is exposed. Fur's blocked off. Fallen is isolated. Chris J trying to wrap around, but he's being held off. Now he's actually going to push towards CORSAIR. He's patiently making this play happen, and he's done it. They've broken in. Fallen's still alive, but he's got no teammates with him. And there he goes. Fur left in a 1 versus 3, trying to pick up the pieces.
You're not going to see CORSAIR get caught off very often in almost any situation, but he was not ready for Chris with that kind of a push. Very, very well done. I think he lacked head armor as well. Sunny just picked up a Negev, or
that had to have been a mistake.
I was hoping so badly, Moses.
Well, you might as well keep it at this point, right?
Yeah. Is it?
That's a lot of money that just gets thrown to the side.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful weapon as well. I love it.
Was that the next thing we've been missing? We had just not enough Negev plays.
Definitely not enough. Just wait until you see the Negev run boost, and your life will be complete. Never recover from that. Yeah, changes forever.
I think, I mean, that's kind of one of the reasons why Chris has thrown or shown that the MP7 can actually be viable on gun rounds as well. Because, like, I mean, I know a lot of teams, a lot of players have started, you know, giving up maybe head armor in different scenarios, especially when you're on the CT side, going up against AK-47s. So the SMG is dangerous there. But also, you're way more mobile and way more willing to risk an MP7 to make a play like that. Because I think CORSAIR in his head, he's saying, the next play that's made is someone is going to wrap around Fallen inside the bomb site. So I'll be safe. I'm going to try and just hold the truck, and maybe Fallen gets something crazy round, but I can't really help him. And instead, Chris J pushes the direction he's not expecting.
Yeah, that's really, really excellent. But I think you're right. That is the standard way for things to unfold. 4-1. 6th round is coming up now, and armor on 3, upgraded pistols on everybody, but no utility in play at all for SK Gaming. So this isn't going to work out too well. Although I will say, Mousesports have had a couple of moments now where they've sort of slowed down in the middle of a push. And when you've got these upgraded pistols, you might just enjoy that kind of situation if they are going to slow it down. This time they get one opening. Cold is in the right position to get a couple of headshots, but Sunny will take him down. Good double kill again.
Unable to connect those headshots, and the bomb site is over on Bolts. Probably thinking about saving this armor. They're going to have plenty of money in the next round, as the losing bonus after this will be full. Mousesports about to win their 5th in a row. There goes first. Sunny is looking on point, which has got to be frightening.
Yeah, he's. I feel like almost every game we've seen him so far, he was.
He seems very zoned in this tournament, doesn't he?
You think about how hard that is to do, though. I mean, I think it's one thing to show up on 1 out of 4 or 5 days and have a couple of good games, but this is the 3rd day, and every game I've seen him so far, he's been just straight on point. Quad kill for him. Obviously, this one was a little bit easier just in terms of what the enemy had, but he is at 10-3, so that's worth looking at. And moving into the 7th round, let's just see. I made I made another crazy prediction, Moses.
I've lost track of all of them. Gotta be honest with you.
I said I think Finland is the next country that's ripe for talent harvesting. I think we're going to see some Finnish talent come up in the
not even like really a country though. We already had that discussion as well.
It is, and I'm not convinced that. They have an alphabet where they just use S and K and I alone, and then all the rest of it they don't use. So it's very odd. I agree with that much.
Yeah.
But if you pay attention to some of the talent development stuff that's going on in Finland, how many people are interested, how many people are playing at a sort of a youth level, it's actually more than you'd think.
Yeah,
so,
the Godfather Natsu has been putting some work in on that part.
Natsu's up there. No, I really think people should not underestimate the kind of work that's gone into that right now. So maybe not right away, but eventually I think
it's going to yield long-term results.
Yeah.
Well, SK needs something in the short term. They take a timeout, they talk things over. Fallen is back on the AWP. This time it's in mid. And actually, if you think back to pistol round, this is a lot of the critical rounds that SK has decided they want presence in middle. The first gun round, they had that stack with 3 players, 3 M4s. Pistol round, they had the Bolts trap, assassination, whatever you want to call it. Now again, Fallen in first, sticking around with Stewie up in vents. So really, really emphasizing mid control. See if it pans out.
Good little detail. Fallen has a smoke in case they throw a Molotov. He wants to make sure that he can potentially stay alive. That wall in the middle has become really common. Usually you use it so you can get into the vent quick. This time, doesn't seem like that's what Mousesports are doing instead. A little bit late, Chris is going to be walking out. That's a great headshot. Sunny started off on Stewie, and another one comes through. Chris taking down Fur. Finally, they put an end to him, but Bolts is in a lot of trouble. He's done so much damage, though, taking down Sunny. Stiko going to best him, but he actually almost took down Robs as well. Bolts almost got that triple kill, but in the end, he'll have to settle for it. Maybe even almost a quad kill, I think. But he has to settle for the double. That leaves CORSAIR 1 versus 3.
That is a textbook reason, I think, this round, why there are some teams that just hate and despise this map. Look at all the emphasis that SK put on mid. That, again, 3 players there, a lot of utility to set it up, getting aggressive to find information. You had the AWP, and you just miss the timing by a half second, right? Like they're just, it's, you know, they don't catch the wind of that Mousesports play. It comes right as that smoke wall clears, which is when you're least expecting the hit to come in, and you just get deleted by some very nice shots. But think of all the money that goes into, you know, the smokes, the M4, the AWP. That's so much economy that just didn't yield any results whatsoever.
Let's say you don't hold middle actively on cash, but you just sort of have one guy who's aware of what's going on, but he's not trying to fight for it. What's the upside and the downside of doing that, in your opinion?
To just one player kind of secure?
Yeah, sort of, you know, spotting it, making sure they don't sneak through, but, you know, not much more than that.
It's nice to have the information, obviously. If you can, the trick is always to do it without having that guy dying, which is always easier said than done. The tough part is, even if you're going to play it like that, it's almost not worth the risk of him dying, because even if he gets a kill and is traded off and control of mid goes towards the T side, they can just fake either one of the bomb sites, they can pressure each one, they can force rotations, they can really make you second guess. So there's no great answer to it. You just have to have a variety of setups, and kind of sometimes you have to luck into the right call. Have the mid stack when the fast mid play comes in, for instance. God bless.
And they said Mousesports were maybe feeling a little bit under the weather and whatever, but I think Chris got his orange juice this morning. He's got all the vitamins.
It is funny when you think of Chris as an AWPer, like how he was in the beginning of CS:GO, and then he has some like really crazy clips of him just tapping away with an AK.
Yeah.
We watched a couple. Like there was that one they had at ECS. I think they played it when we were in Cancun. They played it so much, but like in the B bomb site of Inferno, and he just like one taps like 3 different people on a retake, and it's like the most intense thing ever.
I mean, I think especially because the explosion of Chris J onto the sort of the Counter-Strike stage was really quite big, you know, like people were really excited. He like developed a whole brand around himself as being like this really good AWP player. And then when you notice the cracks in his game that he couldn't fix, that were like, you know, he got really stressed and he didn't perform well in big games and all of these things. And when so much time passed when he didn't fix it, you start to think, well, maybe it can't be fixed. Like maybe this is a problem he'll never overcome.
And then he does what no one's done before, which is you take on the hardest role of the team and you just thrive.
Yeah, like I actually think that is
super impressive, isn't it?
Incredible story, isn't it? So yeah, every day I watch him play, I feel like it's exciting. 7-1. I don't know what I was expecting out of this game, but it wasn't this.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure either. A nice opening pick from Rops, picks up the pace, aggressive, finds CORSAIR. Fur's going to get aggressive. There's one kill, and actually even Sunny down to low HP. Bolts does just enough damage. It's Oscar trying to pick up the pieces, but still, even with success, I mean, here's the other part of having that mid control. They actually trade appropriately on the SK Gaming side, but now Fallen and Stewie just can't help each other. They're so split and so much control for Mousesports, and Fallen's got a long way to go to try and win this 1 versus 2. And
you could tell that Stewie was trying to relocate himself as they walked in on him.
Trying to get into safety, yeah.
Yeah, it's a very unfortunate, obviously, that's the timing that happens. Like, in hindsight, it would have been better if he stayed on the bomb site to try and buy time, but he could not know that. Well, Fallen in the 1 versus 2 with the AWP. Seems like a big risk, and they just spotted him out as well. Grenade. Oh, does kill Robs. That's shocking. He actually had the health, I thought, to survive it. Now, walking in, grenade, oh sorry, pistol in hand, looking for Stiko, runs right in for the headshot. And Stiko's going to win the fight anyway. That's a really big kill. Guy almost didn't even make it to the tournament, but now that he's here, playing well at the moment. 8-1. This is another timeout being called now for SK Gaming.
I think they're frustrated. You see something that you don't normally see. Fallen asking for HP after he loses that kind of duel right at the end. And you normally, I can't recall the last time I've seen Fallen being one of those guys asking, you know, how much health you had left in the duel. So he obviously thought he might have dinked him through the corner of the box.
Is that the international sign for? I feel like I should have won that. When you ask.
Yeah, I think so. I'm actually surprised by how many players are like actually honest and give like the actual health that they had. Like whenever people ask me that in like a tournament or like an online match or something, I always just said 1. No matter what my HP was, I just always told them 1. Like let them know they were just that close. Let them think about that. Think about it. Like why are you make them feel like crap?
Pokemoses. I like it. It's just lying your way through the into the professional tier. No, actually, I agree. I think it's really very much a good idea to do that. There was a lot of complaining in the past when people would do, you know, teabagging or knifing other people's corpses.
We need way more teabagging.
Way more of that, like, especially if you know it's going to annoy the other players. Like, it's a really good idea to do that then. Now, they say variety is the spice of life, Moses, and SK have embraced that in the rifles they picked up. They've got almost everything.
Yeah, it's not great, is it? I mean, they're running out of nades. Obviously, you have to see Fallen Fur and Stewie are actually holding on as long as possible. They don't want to use these until they're pressured. And even Mousesports, look at them across the map. You could just draw a line that Mousesports has essentially said, do not cross this. As they want to find out what they're going up against before committing to anything. Oscar here. Chance to hunt down Stewie. One mistake from the young North American player, and he could pick him off.
I don't like this setup from Stewie and Cold, mostly because CORSAIR has no grenades. So Stewie's playing in checkered, and CORSAIR can't flash, can't smoke, can't do anything to help out Stewie. So it seems like they're just playing a disconnected setup on this side. It's obviously because of the money, but still. This boost, though, if nobody checks it, it could be big news. Molotovs going in everywhere, in fact. All the way behind that forklift. With a bit of a chance, gets one. The transfer almost happening, but Sunny gets two in return instead, and now they're on the site. Sunny looking for... Oh, no.
Oh, that's not good.
He's in the chat.
They've dropped the bomb far back as well. The clock is running down. Fallen can get this kill. He can end it. And all of SK is here now, but Oscar's still holding line with the AWP. And no one wants to move forward past that truck. Stewie up top is going to get traded out. Nice shot from CORSAIR. One-on-one, and Stiko denies it right at the end.
That's just... That round became a little bit more exciting than it was meant to be.
Who was on the boost? Was that Fur?
Yes.
He missed his initial kill just by like a half second. That's what allows Sunny to kind of come over. That player right there just got past the corner of the box that made that frag difficult for Fur onto Chris J. And because that extra time, because that extra like 5 or 6 bullets that he had to spend, Sunny's able to make the transition. If not, that's a double kill for Fur, and that's probably a different round. Slimmest of margins, but it's 9-1 for Mousesports. You can't really, you get to the point now where just saying you barely lost rounds doesn't matter.
I mean, sometimes it can even be more stressful kind of when you keep being really close and then you just, you know...
It's two one-on-ones they've lost now?
Yeah, you were absolutely right. A little bit too much. So, Stiko is listening over at the squeak door. Robs is holding the sunroom outside of the B-bomb site. And they're just sort of trying to get some information, figure out what's going on. Are there any stacks? Are there any grenades being used or anything like that? And they still have plenty of time to make up their minds, which it looks like they're going to be walking to A, although Stewie is sneaking in the middle.
I was going to say, Stewie's about to force their hand. Oscar's low with the bomb. This is going to be a free kill for Stewie. He could turn this round on its head.
No.
Oh no, he's not actually looking. There it is. I think he heard the nade being thrown. Now he's gotten up, and now he's got the bomb, but his teammates have to do something as well because he is kind of trapped and isolated. There's no backup coming. It's all on young Stu in towards Squeaky Door, hunting down. He finds one more, goes for the follow-up peek. That little shoulder jab for information, but he goes down. He can't handle it, and the bomb has been recovered. There's plenty of time, and Mousesports going to get away again.
What a shame. If he could have held the bomb just a little while longer, that would have been very interesting. Now, you have to doubt if... or they're not even going to try, it seems. Maybe go and pick up that AWP eventually, if he can find his way over there. Another round for Mousesports. 10-1. How do you get this kind of lead against a team like SK? I mean, yes, there's been some talk around them and how they've been looking, and the roster change and everything else, but I still would have expected that... So CORSAIR's got 2 kills in 11 rounds.
That's one way to do it, right? Is to have one of the best players in the world not able to get frags. That's going to be an interesting thread for this SK team, is keeping an eye on CORSAIR, as he's been pretty much playing the buddy system game with Taco for like the 2 years, winning trophies and championships.
Yeah.
So he's one of those players that can be affected, and we'll see just how much it is, especially considering you brought in a player who's not someone you want to confine to kind of a supportive role in any sense. You want Stewie to be pretty unleashed.
Yeah, I think
that's the crux of why people are looking at this roster swap or this trade or this signing of Stewie and kind of scratching their heads and say, it is kind of cool on paper, but in actual practice, I'm not sure how it's going to pan out long term.
Yeah, I think you could make an argument that that might be one of the least understood concepts of how to put together a Counter-Strike team. It's just like, how do you fit all those roles together? Like, what kind of personality are we talking about? We'll see how it works out. I think it's obviously too soon to judge it. But
if anyone's going to figure it out, it's going to be Fallen, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Oh, that's not good. Flash and almost actually lands a blind double, but just this Mousesports team is just bad. I don't even know. There's not even an adjective to describe how much they are destroying SK in this game.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit rough. It feels like they're just rolling their heads over the keyboard, Moses, and that's they
just face planting, smashing their foreheads in, and it's getting headshots.
Yeah, it's still working somehow. Don't even have to do anything. CORSAIR defending his AWP, which is, I mean, that's good news. And also getting on the board, you know, getting a chance to flex just a little bit. See if they can hunt him down in the last couple of seconds here. Flashbang does nothing, so this would maybe be the most depressing ace of all time if he actually picks up the last one, too. He's hiding in the corner, though, and the fire not quite... Ooh, does jump at the end. So not bad, but...
3 timeouts for SK. A team that's usually known to kind of play through their issues instead of taking these, only really using them when it gets to like a almost dire and insurmountable, which I guess, in fairness, they're at. But 3 in the first half doesn't bode well. I mean, you ask how you get to 11-1. It feels like, I mean, yeah, you're on the CT side, tougher to manage the economy, but it's not even like they've been reset, you know? It's not even like they won 1 and lost 1 like a couple times or anything like that. They just haven't been able to even win. Look how fast Mousesports took that bomb site. They slowly walking up, and as soon as they're throwing the nades to take the hit, they're opening the door and they're coming out of the choke points. There's no chance for SK to communicate what's coming, and all of a sudden they're dead. Not even able to buy time.
Some of the entries we've seen out of Chris, where he just walks in and headshots people. Like, his model doesn't even stop. He's just so quick. A little bit of a grenade there. Let's see what the Brazilian side can do here. Very near the end of the first half. Mousesports looking changed from yesterday, where they had a rough day.
Here it comes. A pop flash through the smoke to take over this B bomb site. Gonna try and swarm CORSAIR with the first one. Stewie trying to keep space with his UMP, but he expected people to be closer. Now CORSAIR has to push out, burning in the flames, and again he's finding safety. Flashbang out one more, and he can't adjust. Advantage for Mousesports.
That's a really good kill for Robs. Not necessarily easy with that grenade in his eye. The grenade, oh, lands right on top. Does less damage than I thought it would. But that's still going to be a bomb planted now. See if the retake can happen. They almost have to go for it. Even 2-on-3. Going to be charging in. Bolts down on the low ground. Fallen's going to be dropped. That's Chris with a headshot, and he will follow it up as well. A double kill here, making it 16 and 7 on the board for him. He is leading the team and everything else. It's just impressive.
He's just giggling away. Really nice sequence from Chris. Yeah, there's not really too much you can say anymore for SK. I mean, they haven't really been able to have any kind of comfort or any kind of nades to get aggressive, to try and take map control themselves on the CT side, which we see frequently. Here's the next scary thing, and it can even get worse. This is SK's map pick.
Yes, it is.
Rops has just done, what, 150 damage?
My God.
150 damage to the smoke as they cross the boost up, and the follow-up nade as well.
They have everything working.
No, don't do that.
Even the sprays for the smokes are working. Chris is going to be, I mean, he's just doing a fantastic job.
What a ridiculous sequence that if you're an SK player, you're just like, what can I even do?
Yeah, nothing at all. They've got everything. They've got all the rounds. They've got all the money.
All the monies.
Crochet is Dutch, isn't he? He's just sitting there saying, I love gold. It's going to be Stewie going down next, and not much defense being put up here at the B-bomb side. Oscar taking down CORSAIR. And with just Fur and Bolts left, again, there's almost no way that we can narrate this story to make it seem like SK are going to be back in this, maybe even in this map. I mean, this is incredible.
I'm trying to think of the last time we've seen SK being this hopeless. I think the only time I can think of is probably the first match they played when they brought like Taco and Zeus and FNX over when they got 16-0'd. At that was a DreamHack as well. That was what, DreamHack Summer, I want to say?
Yeah.
They got 16-0 and then they made that legendary run through the rest of the tournament to make it to the finals.
I mean, there is a bit of a history with SK and sort of when they get annoyed, you know, when they feel like you've disrespected them in some way. When, you know, there's obviously the famous moment when they try to knife CORSAIR in the B-bomb side of...
Then he just dropped like 35 kills on him after that.
Yeah. So
I don't think that one's going to happen here. This is a little bit different. Even like disrespectful in any way for Mousesports. They're playing a very simple game, but they're not like... It's not like they're buying like P90s and jumping through a smoke or, you know, they even dropped the Negev. He's probably scared to offend him.
Yeah.
Maybe a good decision.
That's actually a good.
Do you think if he hadn't dropped the Negev, it would have annoyed CORSAIR and we'd be playing a completely different game?
Yeah, you've got to beat CORSAIR really a lot, but you don't want to do it the right way, the gentleman way. Otherwise, bad things happen. So the silent boost up. There is a quicker way to do it, but it makes more noise, so that if somebody's in Squeak or in main, they could hear it, and this way, yeah, there's no signal so far that anyone's boosted up in that corner. But they're pushing B and leaving just the boost. This is very... They're reaching deep right now, SK.
Yeah, you have to try something. Going for the Hail Mary. We'll see. There's Fur onto Rops, and that gives up the flank. So Mousesports has two options. They can continue forward, they can go back and try and deal with it. Chris isn't even aware. UMP at this range is not the best, and Chris is on fire. Now come the nades, looking for the boost, spots it out as well. The game is giving up bolts. He does find one, and I think SK's done enough. I think these flanks as well have kind of chipped away. The bomb is dropped all the way back, and finally, you win the first round and the last round of the half.
Great symmetry.
That's beautiful.
It's about the best we can say, really. That was...
that is about all we can say, isn't it?
They started the half, and they closed it, Moses. And 13-2 here in favor of Mousesports. An absolutely outrageous performance. Chris J with 19 kills. The closest to him is Sunny at 14, Robs at 12. But like, I mean, I don't know how you get into a game like this and just play this well right off the bat.
It's not even just the volume, it's like the style. Like if you watch some of those executes that we had on those bomb sites, like Chris is just getting like one-tap headshots to clear people out of like, you know, forklift. He's just, you know, bolts is deleted. Whoever was over in quad, he's just deleted. And it's like, what if you're SK, there really wasn't. I feel bad to a degree because no matter how many timeouts you take, no matter what you adjust, you can't beat someone who's getting an entry within the, you know, the first two bullets every time they come out of a choke point.
Well, let's see what the SK guys can bring us here in the second half. It's going to be coming up right now. We have pretty much armor on everybody except for Stiko, who's got the kit. No smokes or anything like that for Mousesports, so that could be interesting. And 2 Molotovs for SK Gaming. So burning out all of the corners on the A-bomb side and try and see what they can have happen. That could be quite effective, although only Oscar is holding there. So, and they're pushing middle as well. They are really, really playing a hard game right now, Mousesports. This could be a great flank.
It's just like you're up 13-2. Do you really need to just push mid and be this much of jerks? Oscar with the kill. That's from that's through the smoke, I think, and that's back towards the truck. The flank hasn't even come in, and again through the smoke. I think Stiko might be able to spot some of the feet, and there's the indication. There's the flank. Fallen's got to hold him off. Sunny's still here. He's been great, but Fallen takes out 2. So a chance now, but he's got to get all 5, and that's not going to happen. Not even close. Rops shuts it down before it even begins.
I feel like at this point, if you're SK saying, listen, it's fine. You know, there's a second map, and we're just going to do the same to you guys. So, you know, let's just have him have it. You know, let him have the victory. It's going to feel that much worse when they lose the second map.
It's going to feel that much worse when Oscar picks up this auto shotgun and just gets like 3 kills right off the bat.
Back again, isn't it? What a demon. Ooh,
Chris found more than he wanted.
That's a lot of players out there. He just wasn't ready for it. A little bit...
Already flanking, of course. This is so cruel. That's at least a good trade, but he's going to fall prey to that. Low HP cleans it up. This is nice. Tapping away, but the P250 is going to win. Now Oscar's here. Daddy's home. Let's see what he's got.
Trying to be a bit of a distraction there. Stewie with the jump up. Oscar had so many kills with this auto shotgun in the past. There was that one time when it didn't work out. But this is the kind of game where he's feeling it, isn't it?
You might as well. You got some rounds to play with. Look at the flank coming in again. Rops is pushing towards the other side of the map. So, you know, SK don't have a whole lot of options. Now the sound cues come in. Oscar doesn't want to track that long distance, holding his nerve, holding the trigger, and he's got one, but Stewie turns.
That's some inhuman reactions right there. How did he do that?
I think he was turning before the shot even came out. Had to have been.
I gotta hope that that's true. Oscar, now the auto shot. Oh, it's so stupid, isn't it?
Just right to the face immediately.
It's just so stupid. Well,
15-2.
I'm glad that he's just keeping us entertained, Moses.
We needed something, didn't we? A little pick-me-up down the stretch.
Yeah. 15-2, and Mousesports utterly crushing SK on this first map. I can't make any excuse. I can't think of a way to soften this up. Another attempt. This time, Chris says, listen, last time it didn't work so well for you, Rob, so how about you go first, and then I'm right there.
They're literally doing the same exact strategy. Sneako's pushed up to the same exact place. That wasn't really necessary. And Mousesports, they're going to continue pushing forward. The Thomas up top, sprays down one, trying to transfer over. Sunny, there's the salvage M4, but it's all to get Oscar in this position. The auto shotgun grabs one, damages in, it does a lot, and that opens things up for Stiko, who Stewie shuts down one more time. So a third round on the board for SK.
Come on, Stewie. He picked up the auto shotgun and threw it away to buy an AK.
Got to make that comeback.
Yeah, but that auto shotgun was the ticket to do that. I think.
All right.
Like a trophy.
Yeah.
Carry it in, you win the.
Like a Predator.
Yeah.
Predator 2, he gets in the spaceship and it's got all the weapons of the defeated opponents.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Think about what kind of message you would send if you took the shotgun and made the comeback from you know 15 to just overtime.
From the T side of the shotgun as well. Good start from Bolts. Chris goes for the challenge and first dinked up. They're both going to take this fight. No response. The rebuttal. But Stiko is kind of trapped. There's no way out for him as CORSAIR keeps him locked in. And that Molotov's going to do it. No smoke to put it out. He's a goner. Or not. Okay, thank God.
Took a little bit.
It did. It worried me.
Sunny with one good kill at least. The transfer would have given them a chance in the round. Now it doesn't seem so likely. Oh, wow. Nice adjustment from Robs. Once again on point. Bomb being carried in. And I think he's not going to be able to do this.
Might as well just go for it. Everything else has gone your way in this game, so no reason to hold back now. 1-on-2, and even though you don't have a kit, you're here quick enough to where you have some time to play with. He's got Fallen back in towards A main. Stewie still in the sight. And he's going to get nowhere.
Not bad. Stewie starting to look a little bit better, and also I think that's the smile that I see. Currently doing quite well. You said 12 kills. Him and CORSAIR starting to pick it up. That's if you were going to make a comeback, surely that would be the ingredient you put into the blender, Moses, right? Like you.
I don't even know how you come back from this. To be honest with you, I don't think anyone does. So yeah, I guess that's a good start. They're going to need more. Surely there's going to be rounds where they encounter some struggles. Someone gets picked off, CORSAIR or Stewie, but I think it's a little bit early even to be talking about this in that context quite yet. A lot of rounds, 10 rounds for Mousesports to play with, although, well, I think was that yesterday we saw them actually almost give up a pretty big lead, or was it the first day?
Yeah, I think yesterday.
No, it was the first day. It was against Valiance.
Yes, you're right.
They had that like 12-3 lead on Train, and they came back and they won like 16-10 or 16-12 or something like that.
Yeah, and they have a history of doing that sometimes.
It's 13-2. They ended up winning 16-7. So yeah,
10 match points, Moses. Surely, or map points at least. Surely, this is doable.
You can almost luck into a victory here as Mousesports, and at the moment, look at all these smokes on the board. That's got to be confusing. Rops and Chris J both in checkers. There's the edge of the smoke. Chris J spots one, waiting for the flames. It's going to force Rops out as well, and they found Chris, and what is the play that Rops makes? This is not a great corner to be in. You can be spotted He's going to push right through, trying to get clever. A pop flash from his teammate. He gets one. I think there's one in the vents above him, and that's CORSAIR to find the trade. A hectic round over in checkers at the B-bomb site, but SK comes out on top.
That's actually a very cool attempt from Robs, especially with the communication from his teammate there to get everything in line. That could have been absolutely beautiful. Sunny hoping to get a shot maybe at CORSAIR up in those vents. We're down to 45 seconds, and Stiko and Sunny are on the right side, Oscar holding the other side alone. But there's so many grenades left on SK. I'm not even sure they're going to get much of a chance to fight here. That deep smoke, though, they might have to challenge it. Fallen doing a little bit. Grenade, not going to do too much. And now the counter grenades are going to be coming in. So Mousesports should definitely know. Already, Oscar's trying to rotate out. He's running into Fur in the middle, though. And that's annoying. Now they're going to be bringing the bomb back, and suddenly it's changed, and we're going to the A-bomb site. Oscar going to be dropped, and Sunny next in line. Great call right at the end of the round here.
Especially because you could tell they did want to hit that B-bomb site, but that smoke actually just pushes them back. No reason to risk a man advantage by trying to run through a smoke. They give up that idea, and they're able to start pulling Oscar. He was boosted up, and that's why they left him as the sole player. Figured he could get at least one or two from up top, but that little fake from SK gets him out of his perch. It'll be a 6th round now for SK as they continue trying to get started in this comeback. One round at a time is going to be the mantra that they're talking about between every round.
I mean, Mousesports won 13 rounds in a row on that first half, so uninterrupted, just going to work.
It's a little bit hard to do it when you in the back of your head, you just don't have any kind of rope to play with, do you? Like you have no more mistakes. One mistake, one misplay, and you could lose the game. So that kind of pressure also is not always easy to deal with.
Yeah, depending on what kind of person you are, yeah, that would maybe just mess with you a little bit.
On the other hand, when you know that you're not expected to win whatsoever, you do play a little bit more loose. Maybe you go for a little bit more loose. You're not as scared because essentially, to a certain degree, you've already lost. Bomb's going to get planted now. SK still clawing into this, and they're about halfway there.
So they have a lot of rounds still where they can experiment Mousesports, or they could say, well, we have a default defense on this map. It's supposed to work. We're gonna try that a couple of rounds before we get to the experimentation. Like, in what order would you do that? Try the default first, or would you say, well, let's just have 3 rounds in a row where we double boost middle, we push 2 men into squeak door, we push B, like.
Especially at this point, I think you just go to the default because you really haven't even had a the money to have everything you could want. Some of those gun rounds early on were with the SMGs. So now you hear the losing bonus just built up to its max. You have the double up set up on the board. Yeah, this should be pretty standard for Mousesports, all considered. One op at A, one op at B. Chris J is going to grab an angle and the fast boost coming in. Sunny and Stiko, I think, are just going to fall away. They don't want to mess with it whatsoever. That's a lot of pressure. That's mid-control gained very quickly and very early for SK. So a lot of time that they can apply pressure. And there's a good find. The nade onto Chris.
Not bad at all. We talked about how SK were running into this problem in the first half as well, where everything that was happening, they got shot through smoke, they got grenaded, and things just weren't working out for them at all. So I guess it's only just and fair that Mousesports get a little bit of a taste of that. Just a tiny bit.
Fast B-split as well, very convincing with that mid-control as they're going to start pushing it. It's just Rops here. They have rotated Stiko over, but what help can he be? Molotov is going to force Rops into the open. Stewie's waiting for that, and CORSAIR has the follow-up. Don't look now, but this hit looked just as easy for SK as Mousesports hits looked onto the bomb site.
Yes, it did. And I'm almost a little bit worried because Mousesports had Sunny and A-main the whole time. He was there from almost the beginning of the round. So they knew that there wasn't going to be any pressure over there. They had sort of a good feel of that. And yet they couldn't put up a defense in the B-bomb side. So
it's because they didn't have control of mid, right? So you still have to be honest that SK could go towards A. I think that was the big thing. The speed and like the instant decision that SK made, like once that B call came in, everyone just kind of hit it from both different angles. That was what threw Mousesports off. Good find from Stewie. We'll see if we can get the AWPer. Ooh, Oscar. He's gonna maybe go for one. No, he just lets him go. All right, what's the AWP?
Yeah, why not?
What a gentleman.
Yeah, carrying into the next round gonna be probably a good move.
He could have taken a step forward, shot one in the back, and just bounced.
You risk it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm just saying, sometimes things don't work out that way, you know?
I know, but...
You stumble into the wall a little bit, you get panicked. You know.
Stub your toe.
Exactly. 15-8. And now everyone's confused because suddenly it looks like SK are very much in the game, or at least like they've come alive. They're actually hitting the shots. They're actually shutting down Mousesports. If only this could have been 15 rounds ago. would have been different.
Yeah. It is crazy to think that they won the pistol round in that first half, and they didn't get a second round until the very last.
Well, see how long they can carry this. You're right, though. One mistake, one little screw up, someone not checking a corner, or as now, someone managed to sneak into the middle. Chris trying. Does get found. Stewart just pushing him back. Stewie?
Stewart?
I don't know.
It's like you were about to scold him.
Yes. Stewart! Get into my office.
Well, 2 players down for Mousesports. The Ops still not getting involved, and there it is. It found some action, and it didn't like it. And all of SK hitting their shots. I don't know if it's time to be scared quite yet for this comeback to be a thing, but I think you're certainly going to start, you know, start leaning in that direction. Like, prepare yourself to be scared, you know, if that makes sense.
I'm getting scared, Moses.
Okay, you're getting scared.
For your sanity.
Chris looks a little nervous. It's not the jovial laughter. He was, by the way, I don't know if you caught this yesterday. He was crushed after that loss to NIP in that series.
Yeah.
Everyone was like getting up, and he was still sitting in the seat, head in his hands, like just scratching his head, like how in God's name did this happen?
Yeah, I really appreciate that. I guess it's kind of good if you can like shake off a loss, but whenever I see players that are like really devastated, I think there's a guy that really cares about, you know, like what he does. Like this isn't just, you know, some you know, random thing. So I kind of appreciate that. Yeah, I think this would be even more crushing, Moses. I'm not gonna lie. If you get that kind of a start and you can't close out the game, that will make you question the fundamental nature of reality. At that point, you just start to wonder what's real. Is quantum mechanics all a lie?
Speaking of scared for sanity, here you are.
And SK Gaming, with everything working for them right now. The double up, though. I mean, Oscar and Chris. Surely one of them will get a shot to open up the round. Any of these rounds.
This might be a better chance for it, obviously, because it's slower paced from SK. So you have a chance to, you know, find one of those picks early on. It's more spread out. Remember last time that there was a double up on the board, it was mid-take within the first 15 seconds, and then a pretty quick call to split that B bomb site, and the Ops could never rotate into position. Chris has his deep into the B bomb site. 2 players in mid, Stico and Rops. An awkward crossfire. Someone boosted up could really, if first swings out at the right moment, maybe just a pop flash as well. This could punish someone. He's going to drop down. Yeah, completely blind. You can see it right there. Good trade from Stico, but you obviously can't build upon that. This time with that mid control, they're going to, looks like they want to split towards the A bomb site. Sunny's forced out. They're going to come up highway any second. Chris is alone in B, but he's got to stay there.
See Bolts and CORSAIR, they have the bomb, so if they get stopped, that could be an absolute disaster. 30 seconds left. Mousesports just need one thing going their way, and they can close out this map. Sunny in so much trouble, and he's going to go down. Back at the bomb site, Oscar, the only one holding. Going to get one kill with the AWP. Mid-air, taking down Stewie. He can't get the third one. It's so close to happening, but the bomb is out there. Chris, can he stop them before they pick it up? No, they're going to be back around the corner, and retaking this with Yob just won't be easy. He spots the shoulder. Fallen, playing it smartly, waiting for time. He knows that Chris wants him. AK swapped out for one headshot. Oh my God, it's so close. But Fallen is going to put an end to it. And that will be 15-10. My God, what a round.
Jesus. Oscar just barely managing to get a couple kills, almost that third. You can see him takes his time with this shot as well. It doesn't unnerve him in any sense. And that one tap is incredible from Chris in that scenario. Thank God Fallen peaked with bolts. Be able to trade it that quickly. And now all of a sudden, if you are tuning in and you didn't watch the first half, this game doesn't feel as far-fetched as it probably does if you've been watching start to finish. 13-2 first half for Mousesports, and they get to 15, I think, what was it, 15-2 even. And what a comeback it's been. And if you just isolate the score here at 15-10, all of a sudden you realize 5 rounds in a row isn't unimaginable.
No, especially because they're going to run out of money, or they have run out of money on the Mousesports side. Good job getting a couple of kills in a round like this. Still a 3-on-3, and they do have armor, so let's just wait and see. The bomb being picked up now in spawn. It was never really carried out of there. Cold and Bolts trying to see if they could isolate Robs, and be surprised if they couldn't. This Deagle... Oh, he actually gets the kill, and Sunny gets one! Surely not like this, SK. They've built everything towards this point, and now walking into the middle, Fallen's gonna go down. Mousesports get it in the most unlikely round possible. Really almost nothing that they picked up. 16-10 though. I can't imagine what it would have been like if they lost this game.
Those are some awkward smiles, though, on the Mousesports side. They're just like, ha 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 ha, yes, we won. Thank you. But, I mean, that's so very close that they're able to come back. And I think of SK, we always have the conversation as well. Is it worth losing quickly, or or do you make the comeback all the way to, like, 14-16 to lose there? If you fall in overtime after like a 13-round comeback, is it harder to bounce back from that? So I think that's actually not a bad place for SK to lose that, because they did just enough to say, we're not bad. We can actually compete, and we actually showed good level once we got into the game. But we didn't get emotionally crushed by almost making it.
Yeah, we knew that was probably never going to happen, but we showed that we could. So yeah, I think that's a good point.
That's a reach. That is a little bit of like the romantic silver lining type thing.
I do like that. That was only map number 1 as well. What a amazing game. I just loved it. Everything about it.
Out of words.
Yeah, it's completely out of words. Stay with us, and we'll be right back for map number 2. It's coming up next.
The Digital Pass, your exclusive way to